Hi, good morning. I am Ajay Banerjee from the Tribune's New Delhi Bureau. We are discussing how the Ministry of Defence is going to revive two advanced landing grounds, one in eastern Ladakh and the other one in Arunachal Pradesh. The one in eastern Ladakh is Chushul, which is barely 4 kilometers from the LSA. The other one is Anini in far eastern Arunachal Pradesh, which is actually close to the LSE, was an old staging ground during the World War II. Now, coming back to the importance of these ALGs. These ALGs basically, an ALG, to explain to our listeners, is a mud paved runway which was built earlier. Now there is some kind of infrastructure to be built to allow operations of Air Force and the Navy and the Indian Army. Now, in this case, Chushul and Anini, the two ALGs which are being revived, the two bases will be for flying UAVs and also helicopters. However, the length of the runways in both places is long enough to accommodate the Air Force's recent acquisition, this Airbus C-295 transport plane, and also the older acquisition, the Lockheed Martin C-130J special operations plane. Now, these runways also are not the first time that we are doing it in the past 20 years. I'll explain later in the video that how we have done it. Now, these two ALGs, when they will come up, will include some kind of infrastructure to allow operations of UAVs and helicopters. Also, these two are important for logistic purposes because in the Indian Army now is based really close to the LAC, and moving on helicopters or on a UAV will be faster and quicker. I mean, moving goods on UAV will be faster and quicker. Troops can be moved on a helicopter, whereas the UAVs can be used for surveillance and also small odd jobs near the border places, which today the UAVs also carry troop rations and also are capable of carrying small ammunition loads to distant places or distant outposts on hilltops. These two ALGs which are coming up, I must remind the listeners, Chushul was last used in 1962 war with China when AN-12 plane from Chandigarh flew in AMX-13 tanks and landed at Chushul. Probably these tanks saved the day in Ladakh because the damage of the war in Ladakh is far lesser than what it was in Arunachal Pradesh. Rather, in Ladakh, we held our own in several places, including near Chushul at Razangla. Coming back to Anini, Anini during the World War II was a staging ground when Britain and China were on the same side during the World War II. And the staging ground later, post-independence, the Indian Air Force kind of made a mud-paved runway which was never used. In the past, as I started the video, in the past, the Indian Air Force and the Ministry of Defence has reactivated other advanced landing grounds, one at Big Oldie in northern Ladakh, another one at Neoma in eastern Ladakh, which is now being converted into a full-fledged airbase. Also in Arunachal Pradesh, almost 7 ALGs were converted into full runways, which included along Machuka, Tuting, Zero, Pasighat and Vijayanagar. These infrastructure projects will carry on because they are very important for the Indian Army and the Air Force logistics purposes and also operational purposes. These two are important, significant milestones as they come up. Let us see how they pan out and how much long they take to be operational. But at the moment, the plan is to have these running very quickly.